Welcome, fellow filthy casuals. What are you playing right now? Are you playing right now? Let's find out. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I know we've been on hiatus here at YuGiBOOM. I'm Joe,
I'm Toby.
And I'm Babe.
and we are the YuGiBOOM boys. We are your fellow neighborhood casual duelists slash rogue players slash scumbags. It's been a while since we've made videos. Right now, Yu-Gi-Oh is like probably at its craziest state I've ever seen of like product coming out, things, me being super out of touch with the game right now, still playing old like outpaced decks. And yeah, we've got a couple of talking points, and we just want to hear in the comment section below if anybody else feels like we do. So we'll start with you two gentlemen. How do you guys feel about Yu-Gi-Oh right now?
Abe, did you want to start?
Sure. Well, for me, obviously we haven't had videos in a while. It's been like what, half a year, 6 months,
Yeah.
and it's just like the game just got like really fast. Like it's literally if you don't play. I mean, there's still some decks that are old, like a little older, that still compete, but like if you really just don't have the best cards, you're not gonna win. We like for us, excuse me. We try not to spend too much on cards, and obviously like cards like triple tactics thrust and like shit like that was like really used like 6 months ago, and I think it's still being used now, but like even then it's like if you don't have those cards you can't compete. And then also, I mean, for us where we live at, we do have some locals we could go to. It's just that our schedules can never match up to go. um so like that's why it's hard for, well, at least for me, to like be in touch with the game. And even with like Master Duel too, like it's you stop playing because Maxi's still a fucking card, and you just can't have fun.
Uh, and on top of that, it's just such a different beast too, comparing Master Duel versus the actual card game and stuff. Because with the meta being completely different between the two, it's just ridiculous. Like you don't know. Personally, I just don't know if like I have this sort of high hopes that like maybe the meta is gonna catch up to Master Duel, or maybe Master Duel is gonna catch up, vice versa, whatever the hell. But it's just one of those things to where like it's very hard to keep up on both ends. Like even buying product or microtransactions in the game, completely on opposite sides of the spectrum, but nonetheless it's just something that just keeps this hobby from being like accessible. Not to say it's hard, but you are gonna have to like shell out a bunch of money for it, and that's kind of the ultimate reality, more so with the physical product too. So
Yeah, and like we do open boxes for the channel, but for our personal like play for Yu-Gi-Oh, we do buy singles, like, and that's the thing. Like our opinions, we come from a really weird zone because we're not like those casuals who think the game who needs to be catered to us. We understand we play casually, so we really don't care at the end of the day that shit's getting hella crazy. It's just our personal experience with the game now is we just fell out of touch of like me personally trying to keep up with Master Duel and physical Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like worrying about two different ban lists and two different metas essentially. It's like got overwhelming, and I was like having more fun with other card games than Yu-Gi-Oh because I believe a lot of what a lot of casual players don't like to hear, which is if you want to compete, you do have to play the best decks. Like it's always been that way. It's just that now the game's hella crazier. All the hand traps and playing on your opponent's turn that decks do now, and all the good decks that can just dodge hand traps and things like that. But it just got to a point where now, me personally, I was like super overwhelmed. And now playing a little Master Duel again here on the side, and like us having a little bit more time now because real life gets in the way. I am a little bit reinvigorated in the sense where like I do want to build a new deck. I don't know what I'm gonna build, but I would like to start playing the game again and like going to locals again because I lost that buzz for a while. Where even like the last regional we went to, which was a while for us, but like I had fun sort of, but I could have went without going, you know? And that was never the case for me before. Like even if I didn't do well, I always like to play strangers because there's no way to find out if you're actually good at the game just playing your friends all the time, you know? And like when you can beat someone in a random tournament, even if you don't top, it feels good. And then some people, they feel the only purpose to play is to top, and that's fine. I believe that opinion to an extent. I believe you can play casually, but if you're gonna put hella money into the card game, why not go actually try to do something with it, you know? But I know that pisses a lot of people off, and I don't know why. Like, I see a lot of people who actually top events on Twitter get shit on because they say, like, well, maybe this game isn't for you if you can't, like, play at the highest level. And it's like, sounds dickin', but that's also just kind of true. Like the tournament should be catered for everyone to be able to win. Like that's the whole point, kind of. It's just I think people don't like to accept to this day, even though it's always been the case that TCGs are pay to win. You know, it's like some whale MOBA game. You know, like fucking Raid Shadow Legends and shit. Like if someone can spend more money than you, they're probably going to be better than you. Not to say we all know the ancient rule. Still takes a good pilot, right? Like if you don't know the game, know how to side, I could give you the best deck ever and you'll still suck ass, you know? Like but from us being casual players, I think for us it's funny because when we really want stuff or want to build a specific deck, we will just buy it. Like we've all here bought an expensive cards before. Like people in the comments don't get it twisted. We believe in that, and at one point in very different times, and for most of us in early days of Yu-Gi-Oh, we actually cared to go to our locals constantly and play in tournaments and things like that. But now we're just more casual and we're hella grown, you know. We have jobs and we enjoy doing YuGiBOOM videos because we feel like our niche was always being those casual stoners who like still like to play but don't take the game super serious anymore, you know. And that's why we're gonna just we're going to start bringing you guys more dual videos and we're going to change our format up a lot. But right now, we're just curious as how all the other casuals in the community feel. Like, do you feel like it's worth your time or do you feel like it's not? Because in our friend group, at least, we already had tons of players who were way better than us here in the Bay Area that we knew switch games or stop playing TCGs altogether. Like most people I know now play Magic. I mean, shit, I even play Commander on the side, you know, and like a lot of our friends who never even played TCGs before, they played the One Piece game and it was their first TCG and they love it and they never had interest in learning Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon or Magic.
Magic, yeah.
That's another competing TCG that's definitely blowing Yu-Gi-Oh out of the water too. So, geez, funny you mentioned One Piece.
Well, what's crazy for them is they have really expensive cards already. You know,
Yeah,
like the game's not even that old, and they already have decks that are ridiculously expensive to build. You know,
like one of
but
our friends sold a Gear 5 Luffy. That shit was fucking insane. Jeez.
yeah, it was like over 2 racks. He pulled that special Luffy card, and I was like, damn, this game just came out like a year or two ago or something. You know, like it doesn't feel that old.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and it's funny to see like even other like content creators. I mean, they still play Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, but they've been playing like other stuff, like obviously like Pokemon, Magic. Um, May some people kind of still dabble with the Digimon, and then obviously One Piece is like really popular because of the anime.
I
Of
also
course.
well,
want.
that's
Oh,
what you could. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say I also wanted to point out that even like very very niche ass TCGs are even popping off, like the
Yeah, like
divorced dads TCG. Oh my god.
voice stats, bro. But there's also this other game
Stupid.
that's new. It's called Trolls or something. Like I remember Coder was one of the first people to like kind of advertise or whatever. But yeah, other people have been playing that game. That game. Um,
Whatever happened to Disney Lorcana?
it's still around.
It's around. I mean, our
I don't know
homie
anything about
Trez,
it.
shout out Trez if you watch this. He played for a little. Cause he'll try like a lot of TCGs. He was playing the Digimon one for a while, and I know where he was, it was more accessible. I know the biggest problems with Lorcana, at least here in the Bay, was you couldn't fucking get it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it was like very undermade or whatever the fuck you want to say, like production, and then nobody could get it, and the resells were insane. But going back to what piggybacking on what Abe was saying is like that's what's so funny about the state of Yu-Gi-Oh for me right now. Like, we all obviously we're a super small channel, but everybody has their favorites, right? Like the bigger Yu-Gi tubers, and like when I look at some of the guys that I like that I've always watched their content for Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like even if they are an established person, look at what they're doing now. They're all doing fun shit. Like Team Sam's duel nights, the drafts, like that kind of shit is what we do. We're just not popular, you know what I mean? Like that's what people want to see because it's just him and his friends not taking the game too serious, but they're all like some of the best players in the world, you know? Like
Yeah.
um and it's hella funny to just see them actually enjoy the game. People who've played it at the highest level where we know it gets the most sometimes unfun, even if you're doing good, you know? Like, so that's what's crazy too, is like a lot of the my favorite bigger Yugi tubers, they are back, and it's cool to see that they're like they've got their accolades, like they've gotten their hella subscribers, they've won tournaments, and now they can just make fun content, and it's hella better content. Not to say their old content wasn't, because that's why they have so many subscribers, but it's crazy to see them do stuff that it seems like people can still have fun with the game, you know?
Yeah.
And like for us, we've always done that in the sense where a lot of times we'll give deck profiles to the people, and like most people ignore those comments like make an ice barrier deck. We'll fucking do it, you know? Like you want us to make an ice barrier deck that actually has hand traps? All right, it's not gonna work, but here's two ash, two triple tactics, two fucking, you know, infinite permanences, two drolls in an ice barrier deck. Or here's Naturias. You know, how many Dragoonity Fire Fist deck profiles have I done, you know? Always trying to keep shitty decks up to date, but that's just what makes us have fun now. And same thing on Master Duel. I don't think a single one of us plays a meta deck on Master Duel. We all play like I have World Chalice and Blue Eyes, and like Fire Fist half built. You know?
And the only one I have Bill's Mermail. And
Yeah.
the only reason why I went on Master Duel was because Title came back to 1 in Master Duel. So I was like, let me go craft it.
Of course.
And that's
Opportunist.
it.
God.
I know, and that's the
Title needs
funny.
to come back to 1 in real life.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But like, it's crazy because we always say this, and I think we've said it in past pods too. But like, Yu-Gi-Oh's one of those things where it's like an abusive relationship, right? Like no matter how bad it gets, you just stay in it. Like, so because like I'll never quit. I don't think I'll ever fully quit Yu-Gi-Oh. Like even if we're all not playing and haven't bought cards in years, I feel like even if we're super old and one of us says like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my deck over, let's play," like we do it. You know what I mean? Like, but I will not lie. I've only played the One Piece card game a couple times. Don't have my own deck, and it's fun. It's cool. It's just not like super for me. But like Magic, since that was what I played first before I played Yu-Gi-Oh Super Serious as a kid. Um, Commander is like the shit to me. Like it's way funner than Yu-Gi-Oh is, and it's got so many different ways to play with multiple people, and it's just something that, yeah, the decks still get expensive, but I feel like it's worth it more. Like especially in Magic, I feel like I have way more options on how to switch it up and shit. You know?
Yeah.
Because like Yu-Gi-Oh, I've never been mad at the fact that there's a meta, because that's necessary. You need to make certain stuff fall off and change stuff, but like Abe was saying at the start, just so much product's been coming out. Like I haven't bought in like the last 4 or 5 sets. I think like
Yeah, I mean, basically, the last opening we did was probably the last time you bought product, right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it's like for me, all I've bought in throughout this time we haven't been making videos is like singles. Like I finally like took advantage of like Pot of Prosperities and chip being cheaper, and like I've gotten
Yeah, that's
more
what
like
I did
hand
too.
yeah, I got like more hand traps and stuff. So now even my shitty decks have like ash blossoms and stuff, you know. So I just bought a shit ton of common ashes because it was finally like a reasonable price, you know.
Something I kind of wanted to like piggyback off of. You were mentioning how like Yu-Gi-Oh just entirely is like this whole abusive relationship. And it sucks because like you describe it so perfectly, especially with like the constant draw that Yu-Gi-Oh brings in nowadays, especially with its multimedia department with merchandising. And like I guess that's kind of what keeps us in, is because of the fact that like we're kind of not really, I don't want to say devout fans, but like we're genuine fans of like the property. We've gone and grown up watching the show and shit. We've basically made memes out of like, a lot of like the stuff within like the show. And on top of that, nowadays I feel like there's just this resurgence of like Yu-Gi-Oh media coming up because of like the mass merchandising coming out with like toys, figures, uh these sets that come with cards, like the pot set that came out, that was like a whole legacy thing that like people wanted to just sort of pour money into. And then on top of that, we also have the what is it, the animated series that's going to be coming out. I don't know if that was like an anniversary thing, but they mentioned something about like an animated series, how they're going to dive into like the card lores finally, something that we have previously talked about in this podcast. Y'all heard it probably here first, folks, but it's something that we've kind of wanted for like this long time, and finally like Konami's actually kind of listening to a lot of like user demand, or not user demand, but like a lot of like their audience's demand for like something more than just the people in like the show playing the card game, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I remember in one of our earlier pods, way before like the cool Crusadia lore and all that stuff came out, we said like even the Allied Justice and like Worm stuff would be a hella cool anime, like
yeah,
all the
Yeah,
fucking
like the Hidden
Elswarm
Arsenal
stuff,
shit.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like all the Hidden Arsenal shit would be hella cool, like whole Dragoonity series, bunch
yeah,
of
like
bird guys riding dragons.
the
Like,
dual terminal war. Oh my god, that shit, like when we were first introduced to like dual terminal, and we were getting like a lot of like the dual terminal cards, honestly just like the whole story of like dual terminal and like the archetypes going into war, that alone was just like enough of like a pull, like a gravitational pull for me to just like say, hey, y'all have like these vast amount of like characters within like your cards. Why not make like a sort of what do you call it? Kind of like a Black Mirror-esque series, like an anthology. There you go. I don't know why I pulled back Black Mirror out of my head, but an anthology series out of like these lore cards. Like honestly, just anything like that would have been awesome. And the fact that like Konami actually listened, I feel like is just one of those
You're talking about
bittersweet things.
those videos they came out with like months ago.
Yeah, it was like during their anniversary. Pull it up right here. Yeah, it was during their anniversary. It was supposed to be like an animation project,
I,
but they kind of
yeah, I
hinted it
think
towards being like a series.
I didn't hear anything about a series. I think they just did that just because it's the 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Like they just made those two videos just for that reason. And people are like, "Oh, are we gonna get an anime?"
It's but it's just one of
that's
those.
not gonna happen.
It's just one of those things where it's like such. Oh, it's there. It's there.
Yeah, it's like right there, right?
It's
Like,
right
yeah.
there. And if they
And I
just
mean,
focused on that, because they're not even doing like a new Yu-Gi-Oh series. They're not doing anything in
it's just
regards
the
to like,
sevens.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
well, the
there's no
real, I
mechanic.
mean, he did pass, so like
I mean,
maybe
that's true.
that,
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I agree though. That would be sick. I mean, just to get something new Yu-Gi-Oh,
and that's the
But who
thing.
knows? Maybe
Yeah,
they're just respecting like that it's just Dunzo, the cartoon.
and that's the thing that actually hit so much when you just mentioned that with like Kazuki Takahashi. Like
Yeah. Rest in
that
peace, dude.
that still hits. Yeah, rest in peace. That still hits.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you forget about because you don't really accept it, I guess you'd say. Like there's certain celebrities or people I look up to that when they die, I like keep forgetting that they died because I'm like, shit, they really are dead. I'm like, fuck. But yeah,
Obviously,
maybe that has
recently
some,
with Dragon Ball.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like
Toriyama, yeah.
just blows our childhoods dying in front of our eyes. So is our card game.
it's wild. It's
But
But
wild.
that's why, like, when it comes to like Konami and stuff, it's like they have so much potential
Hmm.
for like merch and all that stuff.
well,
Like
they own so many dear properties, but they don't treat them right. That's the issue. I mean, we've
yeah,
all been down
it's
this
like,
road
bro,
before,
like
you know.
Yeah.
how much Pokemon crap do we have,
But yeah,
right?
well, Pokemon's marketing is just insane.
Yeah,
They
like
need like
look,
McDonald's, fucking.
I bought this at Kohl's, dude.
I got this in Circus in Nevada back in like 98, 99.
Yeah, see, like I got this from Kohl's. Like you wouldn't
Pokeball.
expect to find shit like this in Kohl's. I have the little sleeping Bulbasaur that Toby got me. You know,
Sweet
like
baby.
I
I
got all
have
this. I have more I mean,
I have a little
compared to like
shaman.
cards and stuff, but like merchandise, I have more Pokemon stuff than I have Yu-Gi-Oh stuff.
Dang, I
You know,
realize I have no love for Pokemon. I'm not finding a lot of Pokemon shit around me. Jeez.
Like I even bought
compared to
the,
both of
you know,
He's a fake fan.
remember Toby? We went to Akira HQ and we got the Pokemon,
Oh yeah, the
the
model
Gunpla. Yeah,
kits. Yeah.
yeah. Like I have the Groudon one. I haven't built it yet, but I have it right there. You know, obviously they have the Yu-Gi-Oh ones. I did see, you know, we did see some of those there, but like obviously those were more expensive, so I couldn't buy them at the moment.
Honestly,
That's why that's why
I
I got
wouldn't
the
mind
Groudon
getting a
one.
hold of those and making videos on those.
I
That
mean,
would
those
be
would be
pretty
dope
good.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's finally like something we got. We're like, oh shit, like that's cool, you know. But like that's why it feels like that's why like the accessibility of the game, you know, like, and that's why like a lot of like you know I still have obviously I still control the Instagram and the Twitter for YuGiBOOM.
Mhm.
So especially on Twitter, I see it a lot, or X, whatever it's called now. Like a lot of the, especially like I really like House of Champs, like vision, like when he sees like how they like market and stuff and what they come out with. But like it's all that every time they come out with like new merch or something, it's always DM era. They never do, you know, GX, 5Ds. Like it's always DM.
I'm pretty sure I can find it on eBay, but I want that Stardust Dragon toy that came out hella long ago.
The Funko?
No, I think there was a figure, unless I'm
Oh, there was
tripping.
one. Oh, there might
Yeah,
have been one. There's a Funko too.
I'm gonna see.
I did want to get it. I just couldn't, you know, didn't see it. But yeah, but it's like shit like that.
Maybe there
It's like,
wasn't a figure. Oh wait, yes there is.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch coming out like soon like a
but like
mix
these
between
I feel like with a lot of this stuff, they could have been coming out with this years ago. You
yeah.
know, but
Yeah, all we get is like expensive statues for Yu-Gi-Oh
like
stuff. Like,
yeah, like those be hella expensive, and like they're only in Japan. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like, you know, it's like I mean, I have to buy like something like this of the Pharaoh, but it's not even like, you know, official. Like I got this from some guy at Frankenson's, and when I went to LA, but yeah, that's why it's like sometimes it's like that's why like, you know, with us we go in and out of the game because yeah, we play the card game, but there's like nothing else to keep us in. If you get what I'm saying, like when it comes to like Pokemon, we still have Scarlet and Violet. Obviously they announced a new game that's gonna come out. You know, and then there's like, you know, if you still play Pokemon Go, there's that, or you know, every time you go to Target, you always want to go to the toy section and stuff because you want to see if they got, you know, like let's say I got the Piplup Squishmallow one, you know, like I got that. I got my Sleeping Bulbasaur that I have over there. So yeah, that's why it's like, and like with Pokemon, like I'm still like in that shit, you know, because I can buy shit like that. But Yu-Gi-Oh, it's hard to find things like that that's accessible. You know what I'm saying?
It's starting
Yeah.
to get more accessible now with like the official releases from Bandai or not Bandai, sorry, Konami that they're or no, actually yeah, Bandai putting out those releases, the model kits, the figurizes, the regular figures and everything. Like I'm pretty sure they're going to be manufactured
Yeah,
by
but why
Bandai,
don't they
but-
do like Yu-Gi-Oh Squishmallows, like Karibo Squishmallow?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like kind of like Wadapon.
In
well,
which-
I never
which-
fact checked
oh,
it, but I saw a post somewhere where like France or something had a Hello Kitty like Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah, I
crossover.
was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
bring
like
that
in,
up.
yeah, it's like Netherlands.
Yeah.
I forgot what
Europe and
country is in
Asia,
Europe.
Europe and Asia around
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
I have
Mhm.
I
those.
was like,
Yeah,
damn, like we get nothing like that anymore.
Exactly.
Unless
No,
I've
or
just
like-
missed out on shit.
yeah. And then recently there was like a set that's only coming out like here in the States compared to not even in Europe or something. I forgot which set it was, but yeah.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm saying like it's like, I mean, obviously Pokemon does do that too, but they just have so like with the paintings. Remember the whole painting thing about, you know, the painting with Pikachu and like the other paintings they had,
Yep.
like, you know. But
Are you talking about the
But-
Van Gogh Pikachu card?
yeah, the Van Gogh stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, like the actual, yeah. So that's why it's like kind of hard. That's why like for me, I haven't played in so long like Yu-Gi-Oh, because like it's hard to keep up. Like even with like there could be other things to help me keep me into it,
Exactly.
but there's not, you know, like
Yeah.
an anime or merchandise.
I notice
Or
it's
an anime,
mostly
yeah.
just
Or games, better games than just
Yeah, or like games, yeah, or
like
video
Master Duel
games.
is getting there. Like it's still not what we all hoped. You know, we all hoped we could just craft decks for free, but obviously I get why that would kind of maybe be a problem. But
money.
oh yeah.
I know money, of course, but like honestly, at this point, I'd even take just another new one of their old format type of games, where it's just a story and you just play against AIs and like they have a pretty big card pool and as you're beating the story, you can edit your deck like and change it and like you play through the different eras or whatever, something like that. Like
I
I
mean,
know
that's
that's
what
kind of the
Legacy of the
story.
Duelists.
Well, I know, and like I said, Master Duel does have those stories which are pretty cool. Like every now and then when I re-get on that game, I'll check if any new of those story gates have opened up because those are cool to do, like learn the lore of the monsters and shit like that. But yeah, it's just like at that point where as a casual player, it's a little tough to stay involved right now. But that's the whole point of being casual, though, I guess. But that's our question to the casuals, right? That's what this whole episode's about. Like, if you're like us and you love the game, but you're not taking it super serious right now, like, I guess another main question I think in the beginning I asked them, like, what are you playing? Are you playing right now? But how do you guys all feel, Let us know in the comments below. Like, do you guys feel like this game is a little too overwhelming in a bad way? Do you feel still super into the game? Do you go to locals at all anymore? And yeah, just like tell us your thoughts because we're definitely at that point where like we want to get back into it, but we're still a little bit wary on the whole subject.
It's
And also,
definitely hard on the casual players, honestly. Like, and on top of that, people who want to play Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time, people getting into it for the first time, or anything
It's
like
the
that.
hardest card game to teach
Yeah,
people. I think hands down. It's so easy to learn Magic and Pokemon and even the One Piece game. Like, and I get it. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's had hella big major rule changes and has been out for a while now. But even then, I think it's like no excuse. Like, Magic's been out even longer, and it's pretty easy to teach someone how to play Magic. Like, and decently, not just like, oh, they know the basics, but they're still gonna get stomped and shit.
I feel like Speed Duels was like their way of trying to,
Attempt.
yeah, their attempt to try to simplify the game. But even then, it's still just carried over to being just as hard because they ended up rolling over to like the current format anyway.
Well, like
yeah,
I
like
remember
that
when
thing doesn't suck.
I remember when Speed Duels first came out, Francisco bought all the first little like structure decks and like we sleeved them up and we all like played real quick and like for the first 20 minutes it was fun because we were doing all the anime power cards and like making jokes and shit, but then really quickly we were like I think that's literally the first and last time I ever played Speed Duels. Like it just there was no point. Like it was like okay, this is and then even then like when I was teaching SAS to duel Baby Sass is my cousin. He didn't ever really play TCGs. He just collected Pokemon cards as a kid. And when I was teaching him to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I just made like the basic Dark Magician and Blue Eyes decks, like before they got their bonker support, like before Blue Eyes got Sage and Dark Magician got Souls. And then as he got a better grasp of the decks, I'd make the Blue Eyes deck a little better because that's what I was letting him play, and then I would make the Dark Magician deck a little better. Like I started off with only like one Dark Magic Circle, one Eternal Soul, and eventually I was running three of each, and like we were actually doing fucked up shit to each other, and it was easier to teach him that way slowly and like not really do like link monsters and shit yet. I just taught him how to like synchro and exceed, you know,
Yeah.
because those are to me the easier ones to understand. Um,
Mhm.
never did pendulums either, but like it's hard to teach people that fucking game. So like even like I remember like my nieces legit like especially my eldest niece like when she was a kid, well she's still a kid, but like when she was a smaller kid, she would want to be of course doing whatever me and my brother would do and just cuz like he raised her just like we did where we don't really go easy on her. She got good at games fast, like
Yeah.
we did. Like by 10 she was actually playing Mario Kart and we could actually try like full hard because she was actually decent. And for Yu-Gi-Oh, she never. I tried like twice and she just wasn't into it. But she's already pretty much learned how to play Magic. And just goes to show you, even the kids right now, like they're like playing the One Piece card game a shit ton. Like, um, but we'll see if Yu-Gi-Oh can keep up in the casual base because I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh will ever, unless they stopped making it. Like there's always people who hate the game and say, "Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh's gonna die one day." But I just think that's them being melancholy and not accepting that they are either a casual or they're not trying hard enough if they're trying to be competitive. But
Yeah, and like nowadays, people even they don't even play like the meta. They'll play like old formats, like Go,
yeah, that's
Edison.
going.
Like,
Yeah,
like that's why, like to me, it's like crazy that they have to do that just to stay in touch with the game.
It just
Yeah,
really
well, see, it goes back to what I said earlier about like other channels, like bigger channels. They do a lot of that stuff now. They play what they want to. They do fun videos where they're playing two decks that are supposed to suck, like what we've done without trying for hella long,
it just really comes to show that like a lot of like weight that comes from like like the fandom really comes from like the cult following that it has, because like as much as like a lot of like the card players, like the TCG card players, like try to like push like the whole fandom and stuff like that, it's just in their approach they're not really able to pull any new fans because of the fact that like the card game is just so inaccessible to a lot of people, whereas just the other side of it, like say like the merchandising or just like the show in general, you're still gonna have people interested in buying like figures, like or maybe just even collecting the cards in general, watching the show, or even cosplaying the characters. A lot, I feel like that side of like the fandom when it comes to like Yu-Gi-Oh is gonna hold a bit more of a significant weight, because let's face it, like again, the TCG is just so inaccessible, and it doesn't really help that a lot of that demographic is just very sweaty, both physically and metaphorically.
Well, that's why, like, for us as personal, like, especially for our channel, and this goes to our few viewers, like, we're gonna start doing a lot more shit that we enjoy doing. We'll still bring you mid-tier deck profiles and, like, combos for shitty decks you never thought they could pull off. But we're also gonna, like, finally build our Millennium Puzzle. And, like, finally release our Ghost Hunters episode. But we're gonna get back to, like, doing what we enjoy with this card game as much as we can. And so again, in the comments below, let us know what you want to see. I know, weirdly, people have been asking me for combos of my Firefish Tri-Brigade deck I made like a year ago. And that's funny because I'm pretty sure with that new fire support, something in that has to work in Firefist hella good. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like...
It's hell expensive, though. That's the other discourse, too, is like how expensive...
Oh, what, Bonfire?
Is.
Yeah, but Bonfire is like Pyro Monster, so that card wouldn't help me. But
yeah,
I think there's like a Link monster that's really good for fire decks, because someone said something in the comments.
Yeah, it's like a Link 1 or something. It's like hella broken, or Link 2, and it's hella broken.
Yeah, so I'll have to look into, but for going forward for deck profiles, we're going to do like a whole history of the deck when we do deck profiles as well sometimes, like... I could give you, because I always, when I make the Fire Fist decks, right, for example, I'll get the one guy who's like, okay, can I get a pure deck profile? Can I get a just Tri-Brigade deck profile? And I want to, like, go through Fire Fist's history of, like, pure Fire Fist, the Wolf Bark days, the Fire Fist Hand Trap days, the Zoo days, which is the best days of Fire Fist, in my opinion.
You gonna tell us the story of your entire Fire Fist tenure?
Pretty much.
Jeez.
That was like the first time, what was that, like 2010-ish, 2011? That was the first time I ever took Yu-Gi-Oh! Like exceptionally seriously, like playing locals hella often, 2 different locals. I would play at C&J's and 316. I was buying boxes actively with my shitty $9 an hour job back then, like, to be young and stupid. But yeah, I mean, overall, as casuals, this episode has been for you. I'm not sure what we're gonna title this, but it'll be something along the lines of like questions for casuals, which we are. So
dude. I'm gonna make it clickbaity as hell.
It's gonna be like best podcast ever. 9/11 was an inside job.
Jesus.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
No.
It's more than
I first heard about it 5 days before it. No.
That happened more than, what, 10 years ago?
Dude, hella more. It's like 20-something years
23 years,
I know,
bro.
I know.
Well, it's going to be 23 this year. But, like, for
anyways,
me, I feel like one thing I want to start doing, and I think that will help out the channel a lot. So, people, when you see this, watch out. I want to start streaming. Like, I want to start, I want to get on Twitch and start streaming, and try to play Master Duel more often. And, we could do, like, remote duels and stuff.
Well, I'll just whale your account. Well, I'll just send you like $20 a paycheck, and eventually you'll stack up enough to build whatever deck you want in Master Duel.
Oh my god.
No, I'll try to do it like without money if I can.
The free to play. I do that for my MOBA games, and it's brutal.
I haven't spent any money on Master Duel.
Me either. I never have yet. and I'm proud of myself for that too. My decks suck, but I've gotten some decent shit. I still don't have
Yeah.
like my third Maxi or like my third Ash. Like I'm still skimming by with a lot of my decks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, like especially some of the replays I've had before, those old videos.
Yeah,
But yeah, one thing I want to start doing is maybe start streaming on Twitch.
that would
and
be
stuff.
awesome.
And like, but even though like, yeah, I'll be playing Yu-Gi-Oh like Master Duel or remote duels or whatever. I also just want to do other stuff like obviously like we've been playing like a lot of Power World, like me and Toby. Finally got Helldivers. Toby bought me that as well. Love you, Toby. For democracy. But
That shit's hella fun. Game makes me angry as hell, but it's also hella fun.
yeah, but like we, obviously we've been playing a lot of video games lately. Power World's come out.
Yeah. YuGiBOOM coming at you
Helldivers.
live. Stream boys, stream house. Even though we're all in different houses, but
Yeah, but like I just want to like, even though yeah, it'll be like, I don't want to say it'll be Yu-Gi-Oh focused, but yeah, even though we do play Yu-Gi-Oh and try to get back into it, I still want to like do like other
dabble
stuff
around.
on stream too. Yeah, I
And
still wanna play
even though
Power
our
World,
community is
Helldivers.
small, we're working on a Discord to engage with you guys too, because we feel like being a small rogue casual based channel, we have the ability to be a little more intimate with you guys and shit,
Oh,
No sus. But like yeah,
Oh,
it'd be
the
cool to play
sus.
some games with you guys, or if you guys are down, like if you're like us, you want to play with purposely shitty decks and stuff, like let's make some Master Duel videos together. If you guys ever want to duel us and do a freaking Naturia versus Ice Barrier deck, like let us know in the comments below. But yeah, we're gonna bring you a new format.
Hopefully.
No pun intended.
well, at the time of recording, we still haven't gotten a new ban list either. So
Yeah,
That's true.
since the Snatch
January?
deal came
People-
back and nobody plays it.
people want stuff hit, and
Yeah, people want a lot of
Yeah.
stuff hit, and we would like title deck. Because
I
I always
want
play
title
Abe's
deck.
Mermails when I'm bored. So, but anyways,
yeah.
this has been a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. Again, please answer in the comments below how you feel, especially if you're a casual player like us. We want to hear your opinions. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our different social medias. Ran by this man. I hope Abe is below me when I'm pointing at like this. It'll be on the editor's job. That filthy editor. But yeah, YuGiBOOM out.
さあユギ、お前のターンだ。
僕の番だね。僕はこれで攻撃。